Dracula was a Halloween radio special for WHAS and the second production for Morris Shaw and Tower Hill Productions. I love producing these shows with Morris because he was very talented, from finding the scripts, getting it sold to the radio stations, assembling the cast, truly a bunch of effort to say the least. From 1979, here is the TRAX Tower Hill production of Dracula.
Happy Halloween. Hello again, this is Milton Metz here with a special treat for all our listeners. Tonight, WHAS presents a Tower Hill production of a radio version of Bram Stoker's classic tale of terror, Dracula. So get comfortable, turn off your lights, relax. This tale of ours begins in 1888, a year made famous in London by Jack the Ripper. But our story deals with a fiend more terrible, more cunning, and more evil. From the pages of his own diary, we begin with Jonathan Harker, a real estate agent from London, journeying in Transylvania to Castle Dracula on business. It is nearly midnight, and the coach driver and other passengers are nervous about Harker and his destination as they wait at the moonlit Borgo Pass.
Easy now. Be steady. Herr Harker, there is no carriage here for you. Why wait?
We are a trifle early.
Must you go?
Come with us. Oh, I have important business with Count Dracula.
Nosferatu.
What?
Undead.
My business calls me.
You may have too much of such matters before the dawn.
Take this crucifix.
I couldn't.
Please, for your mother's sake.
Very well.
Come with us to Bukovina and return tomorrow or whenever. The horses are restless.
Here's my carriage.
Nosferatu.
You are early tonight, my friend.
The English gentleman was in a hurry.
That is why you wish to go on to Bukovina. You cannot deceive me, my friend. I know too much, and my horses are swift.
Yeah, for the dead travel fast.
Come, Mynheer.
Here is his luggage.
Good night. Safe traveling, my friend.
Jonathan Harker's Journal, May 17, 1888. This journal of mine is going to prove fascinating. I am recording my adventures in this mysterious land. The people are a superstitious lot, but the wolves howling in these mountains do make the place frightening, and the imagination plays tricks in the darkness. A pack of wolves started to follow the Count's carriage, but the driver waved his hand and they ran off. He was a strange fellow. I wasn't able to get a clear look at him. His hat cast shadows over his face and a scarf covered his mouth. The castle in the moonlight looked foreboding, resting on the edge of a precipice. I was left off at the door, then the carriage disappeared into the shadows. He was a tall, gaunt man, clad in black from head to foot. He stood holding an antique silver lamp with its flame unshielded. He was old, but strong and virile looking, and clean-shaven but for a mustache. His mouth was rather cruel, with sharp white teeth. His eyes gleamed, and his gaze seemed to penetrate to the core of my being.
Welcome to my house. Come freely. Go safely. And leave some of the happiness you bring.
Count Dracula?
I am Dracula. And I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house. Come in. The night air is chill, and you must need to eat and rest.
Thank you.
You're my guest, It is late and my people are not available. Let me see to your comfort myself. This way. Upstairs.
The estate we have purchased for you is exactly what you required. On the outskirts of London, surrounded by a high wall, an ancient stone structure.
Excellent.
It has not been repaired for a number of years. There are no houses close at hand except a very large house which has been formed into a private lunatic asylum. It is not, however, visible from the grounds.
I am glad that it is old and big. I am myself of an old family. A house cannot be made habitable in a day. And how few days go to make up a century.
There are plenty of trees, and there is an old abandoned chapel on the grounds.
I rejoice also that there is a chapel of old times. We Transylvanian nobles love not to think that our bones may lie among the common dead. Here we are. I pray you be seated and sup how you please. Excuse me that I do not join you, but I have died already.
As you wish.
I long to go through the crowded streets of your mighty London, to be in the midst of the whirl and rush of humanity, to share its life, its change, its death, and all that makes it what it is. But alas, as yet I only know your tongue through books.
But Count, you know and speak English thoroughly.
Well, I know that did I move and speak in your London, none there are who would not know me for a stranger. That is not enough for me. Here I am noble. The common people know me and I am master. But a stranger in a strange land, he is no one. I am content if I am like the rest, so that no man stops if he sees me or pause in his speaking if he hears my words. Aha! A stranger. I have been so long master that I would be master still.
London is a friendly place, Count.
Still, I would that you would tell me when I make an error, even of the smallest, in my speaking.
Yes, certainly.
Listen, the children of the night, what music they make. Ah, sir, you dwellers in the city cannot enter into the feelings of the hunter.
I suppose not.
But you must be tired. Your bedroom is all ready, and tomorrow you may sleep as late as you wish. I have to be away till after sunset.
I see.
You may go anywhere you wish in the castle, except where the doors are locked, where, of course, you will not wish to go. We are in Transylvania, and Transylvania is not England. Our ways are not your ways. Your bedroom is through that door.
Thank you.
Good night. Sleep well, and dream well.
Jonathan Harker's Journal, May 20. There is something odd. Dracula never appears during the day, and at night there is no one to talk to but the Count. I begin to feel uneasy. I fear I am the only living soul in the place. I suspect it was the Count himself who was the driver of the carriage. Each night he asks more and more about England, as well as about myself and my dear wife, Mina. His behavior at dinner tonight, at which he again did not eat, was very strange indeed.
Who was it? but one of my own race who beat the Turk on his own ground. This was a Dracula indeed. In my veins flows the blood of many brave races who fought as the lion fights, for lordship.
You speak as if you had been present, Count.
The warlike days are over. Blood is too precious a thing in these days of dishonorable peace. And the glories of the great races are as a tale that is told.
You have a long and illustrious history, Count. By the way, do you have a mirror? I could use one. I cut myself shaving this morning.
Mirrors are foul bubbles of man's vanity. There are none here. Take care how you cut yourself.
You know, a woman on the coach gave me this crucifix. She said,
"Away with it."
I'll put it away if you insist.
I must go. Good night.
May 25, a night of horror and insanity. I am a prisoner and in desperate straits. It seems like madness. I gazed out my window and saw the Count emerge from the window below me and crawl face down the wall with his cloak spreading out around him like great wings. He moved like a lizard at great speed. I tried to leave the castle, but all ways out are locked. I ended up in an old musty room, long in disuse. I sat in a chair looking out the window at the night. I fell asleep. When I awoke, I cannot say, but 2 young women stood before me, bathed in moonlight. They were beautiful and voluptuous, and their laps were like silver.
Go on. Yours is the right to begin. He is young and strong. There are kisses for us both. Young man, let me kiss you.
Back, I say. How dare you touch him, either of you? How dare you cast eyes on him when I have forbidden it back? This man belongs to me.
You yourself never loved. You never loved.
Yes, I too can love, and yourselves can tell it from the past. Is it not so?
Yes.
Well now, I promise you that when I am done with him, you shall kiss him at your will. Now go.
My God.
Are we to have nothing tonight?
Take that bundle.
No. No. May 27. I am surely in the toils. He knows that I know too much and that I must not live.
Write 3 letters to your employer, or to any other. The first saying that your work here is nearly done. The second stating that you are now leaving my castle. And the third, that you are arriving at Budapest. The posts are few and uncertain, and your writing will ensure the ease of your plans.
The sheets of paper that he gave me were of the thinnest foreign post. I understood that I should be careful what I wrote, for he would read it. My only chance is to fall in with his request and prolong my opportunities and my life. May 29. There is a chance of escape. Now I know why I have not seen the Count in daylight. In desperation, I climbed down the wall to the Count's window, gripping the corners of the stones. I climbed in, empty before a heap of gold coins in one corner. I took as much as my pockets would hold. I found a passageway down to an old ruined chapel. There were 40 or 50 boxes filled with newly dug earth, and in one lay Dracula. He looked younger. His white hair and mustache were changed to dark iron gray. His mouth was redder than ever, for blood trickled from its corners and ran over the chin and neck. I fled in terror from the sight. I must escape before sundown. I am at God's mercy. Oh, my darling Mina, I pray I live to see you again.
Mina Harker's journal, August 21st. No news from my dear husband Jonathan since July 26th, when I received a letter that he was starting home from Castle Dracula. I am getting quite uneasy about him. My stay with my dear friend Lucy and her mother cannot ease my mind. The North Sea coast has begun to look foreboding from the Westenra's summer home. Indeed, last night's storm was frightening, and then the ghastly fate of the Russian ship, the Demeter, which has set the whole village buzzing.
Captain's log, the Demeter. There seems to be doom over this ship. Rough weather, one by one, the men are disappearing during the night. Yet another man lost, worn out, no sleep, crew in panic, not enough manpower to work the sails, must leave them up. God seems to have deserted us. At midnight, went to relieve the man at the wheel. I found no one there, just me and the mate left. I am alone. The mate went below screaming that the demon was in the hold in one of the big boxes of clay we're transporting. I fear he's mad. He said he would unscrew them one by one to destroy him. I heard him scream, and then he bounded on deck shouting, "Save me," as he threw himself into the sea. God help me. The mate was right. I have seen him. I shall baffle this fiend and tie my hands to the wheel, holding that which he dare not touch.
Police report, August 21. Inspector in charge, Thomas Snelling. Called in to help with the Demeter business. Only the dead captain on board, lashed to the wheel. The cords had cut the flesh to the bone. He was holding a crucifix. Looking over the log, I cannot come to a conclusion on whether the captain committed the murders or what. Baffled. The cargo of 50 boxes of soil was released to the solicitor consigned for it. No sign of the dog that was seen leaping to shore from the schooner as it touched the ground. I have never come across a stranger situation than this one in all my...
Oh, Mina, it's so lovely sitting here.
My dear Lucy, I don't think of sitting in a graveyard as terribly lovely.
It overlooks the sea. It's restful.
You have been acting strangely, Lucy, and you're so pale. You've taken up your childhood habit of walking in your sleep again.
Have I, Mina?
Even in your sleep you seem to be watching. You look about the room for the key to the door when you find it locked, and all the time you're asleep.
I don't remember. Except my dreams. So real. A tall, dark man comes to make love to me in the moonlight.
And his name is Dr. Arthur Seward, your fiancé.
No, that's what's odd. It's someone else. Someone mysterious. He has such hypnotic eyes. And oh, the things he does to me, Mina.
Lucy! August 26th. I awoke and Lucy's bed was empty. She was not in the room. I ran outside and could see her reclining in the distance on the seat in the churchyard. It seemed as if a dark figure was bending over her. I ran to the churchyard, but when I arrived, she was alone. Lucy! Lucy, wake up!
Oh!
Look at you, just in a nightgown. Let me put this shawl around your neck and shoulders.
Oh!
Now don't move till I safety pin it around your throat.
Huh.
Did I prick you with the pin?
I'm all right.
You're trembling. Let's go back into the house.
You mustn't tell my mother, Mina. You know her heart is weakening, and a sudden shock could probably kill her.
I won't tell her. Now come along. I've been clumsy with the pin. I must have pricked your throat.
Oh.
These 2 little red points and a drop of blood on your nightdress. I'm sorry.
I didn't feel it.
August 31st. No news from Jonathan, and Lucy seems to be growing weaker and more languid day by day, whilst her mother's hours are numbering to a close. At night, I hear her gasping for air. And last night, though the door was locked, she was sleepwalking again. I found her leaning out of the open window when I woke up from the sound of her gasping. I don't understand why you should feel so listless, Lucy. You eat and sleep well and enjoy the fresh air.
I don't know, Mina.
I hope it hasn't anything to do with that unlucky prick of my safety pin.
I'm sure it doesn't.
Those wounds haven't healed. If anything, they seem worse. Unless they start to get better, I insist you see a doctor about them.
You're being silly.
Edgy, perhaps. Why, last night, a bat flew by the window and gave me a start. I'm just worried about Jonathan. September 4th. At last, news of Jonathan. My dear husband has been ill. I am leaving to help nurse him in Budapest. He has been delirious. I hate to leave Lucy, but Arthur Seward is coming to look after her. It will do the doctor good to get away from the lunatic asylum he runs and come out here near the sea.
Dr. Seward's diary, 5 September. I'm going to see my fiancée, Lucy Westenra, today. She has not been well. The case of my patient Renfield grows more interesting. He is unstable and could prove dangerous. His hobby is catching flies.
Got you.
Renfield, do you always eat the flies you catch?
No, Dr. Seward, but that was a big one. A big, strong life.
What do you do with the others?
I feed them to my spiders. Look in my box. Aren't my spiders nice, Doctor?
Very nice, Renfield. Very nice. What do you do with your spiders?
When they get very big and fat, I eat them.
20 September. I have called in my old friend and master, Professor Van Helsing of Amsterdam, to look at Lucy. I'm quite concerned for her. Professor Van Helsing is one of the most advanced scientists of our time. He has a completely opened mind and the truest and kindliest heart in the world.
Your diagnosis, my friend?
Like I said, Professor Van Helsing, she is somewhat bloodless, but I do not detect the usual anemic signs. The qualitative analysis of her blood gives a quite normal condition. There must be a cause somewhere.
What her friend Mina Harker said to you is of considerable interest. I have made careful examination. I agree that there is no functional cause. There has been much blood lost. It has been, but is not.
What do you think of the marks on her throat?
What do you make of them?
I can make nothing of it. Absurd to think it might be the means of the blood loss.
We shall see. I must return to Amsterdam to examine my books and gather a few things. I shall be back soon, and then we begin. Send to me the telegram if her condition changes.
Into the spider's den for you.
You wanted to see me, Renfield?
I want to ask you a very great favor.
Yes?
I want a nice little kitten that I can play with, teach and feed and feed.
Would you not rather have a cat?
Oh, yes. I only ask for a kitten lest you should refuse me a cat.
Well, I must consider your request, but for the moment, it's not possible.
Oh.
26 September. My homicidal maniac is of a peculiar kind. What he desires is to absorb as many lives as he can, and he has laid himself out to achieve it in a cumulative way. Flies fed to spiders, spiders to cats. What would be his later steps? Thank God Van Helsing returns tomorrow. Lucy seems to be getting worse, and her mother is slipping away.
lying down again this afternoon, Miss Lucy?
My God, she seems hardly conscious.
Quick, there's no time to be lost. She could die for sheer want of blood to keep the heart's action as it should be. There must be transfusion of blood at once.
I am younger and stronger, Professor. It must be me.
Get ready at once. I will get my bag. I am prepared. Now, little miss, here is some medicine. Drink it off.
You have some color back in your cheeks.
Thank you, Professor.
I have brought these flowers for you, Miss Lucy.
For me?
Yes, but not to play with. These are also medicines. I put in your window and rub on the door. I make a pretty wreath and hang around your neck so that you sleep well. Oh yes, they, like the lotus flower, make your trouble forgotten.
But, Professor, these flowers are common garlic.
Are you playing a joke on me, Professor?
No trifling with me. I never jest. There is a grim purpose in all I do, and I warn you that you do not thwart me. Oh, little miss, do not fear me. I only do it for your own good.
I'm sure you have a reason for what you do.
You would think you were working some spell to keep out an evil spirit.
Perhaps I am. Now, everything is right. Take care you do not disturb it, and even if the room feels close, do not open the window or the door.
I promise.
And you, my friend, soon it will be dark. Keep watch all night and do not sleep. And watch Miss Lucy. Good night.
You don't want to sleep?
No, I'm afraid.
Of sleep? Why?
All this weakness comes to me in sleep. I dream.
I'm here, my love. I promise nothing will happen. If I see any evidence of bad dreams, I will wake you.
You will?
Of course.
Then I will sleep.
29 September. Back at the asylum. Lucy is better. Van Helsing returns tomorrow morning and he will be pleased. Mrs. Westenra has insisted on taking over the task of watching her daughter. Perhaps it will do them both good. Yet the unexpected always happens, as can be noted by the strange and sudden change in Renfield. I was working in my study when the door burst open. Renfield, what are you doing here? Put away that knife! Keep back! Oh, my wrist! Back, I say!
Good punch, Doctor.
About time you got here, Mr. Swales.
Well, I only just discovered the escape, sir.
Where's the other attendant?
Oh, Renfield knocked him out, sir. Oh, a nasty cut to your wrist, sir.
Yes, it's made quite a mess on the floor. What's Renfield doing?
He's licking up the blood.
The blood is the life. The blood is the life. The blood is the life.
Renfield, stop!
Come on, after him before he gets away.
This way, Dr. Seward.
Are you sure you saw him entering the Carfax grounds, Swales?
Oh, yes, sir. Spooky old place it is, too, sir. Oh, look, sir, there he is by that ruined old chapel. Blimey, he's talking to the bat that's flitting about.
I am here to do your bidding, master. I am your slave. I have worshipped you long and far off. Now you're near, and I await your commands.
Renfield, come with us.
Very well. I shall be patient, master. I shall go quietly, gentlemen. It is coming. Coming. Coming.
Lovely morning, my friend.
We're early. I wonder if Lucy and her mother will be up. Morning, Hawkins.
Oh, sir.
Hawkins,
sir.
What's the matter here?
Something terrible has happened. Come in, please. Mrs. Westenra and Miss Lucy are both dead.
What in Himmel are all the powers of the devil against us?
What has happened?
See for yourself, sir. This way. They were like this when I knocked this morning. Miss Lucy was sprawled across the bed, as you see, and Mrs. Westenra was lying by the open window.
She looks as if she died of fright.
Heart attack. What happened to the flowers I had placed here?
Mrs. Westenra removed them.
She what?
She said the room was stuffy and her daughter couldn't breathe. So she asked me to remove them and open the window, which I did.
And then?
I left Mrs. Westenra with Miss Lucy.
Very well.
You may go, Hawkins.
Yes, sir.
This poor mother, all unknowing, does such a thing as lose her own life and her daughter's body and soul.
What on earth do you mean, Professor?
My friend, I know you grieve, but you must have faith in me. There are strange and terrible days before us.
I trust you, Professor, but...
Believe me yet a little longer, dear friend. There are things you know not, but that you shall know. They are not pleasant things.
Mina Harker's journal, September 30th. Back in London with Jonathan. I don't know what to think of his diary. How could it be real? Was it because of his brain fever? At least now he's himself again. In a few more days, we will let everyone know we are back. But for now, we are enjoying being together. We are going to take a walk down Piccadilly. It's a lovely night, and the city is bustling.
Victims out of mutilated in Whitechapel. Jack the Ripper strikes again. Special edition, extra.
How ghastly.
I'm afraid that seems as nothing to what I've experienced.
Jonathan, look at that woman's hat. It's so pretty.
My God!
What's wrong?
Do you see who it is? That man.
Who, the tall man in black with the mustache and beard?
Yes, it is the man himself. But he looks so much younger.
He looks so evil. Who is it?
He's gone now.
Who is it, Jonathan?
Dracula.
October. Is this a nightmare? Madness were easy to bear compared to truth like this. Van Helsing insisted we go to the graveyard and enter Lucy's tomb during the night. I always trusted his wisdom, so I went, though my soul cried out against it. This is madness, Professor.
Trust me, my friend. I want you to believe.
To believe in what?
In things you cannot. Light these candles.
What are you going to do?
Open Miss Lucy's coffin.
Professor Van Helsing, are you mad?
You shall yet be convinced.
It's empty.
Are you satisfied, my friend?
What can this mean? Has a body snatcher stolen her body? Or is she cataleptic?
This is good logic as far as it goes. Miss Lucy is dead, is it not so? Yes. Then there can be no wrong to her. But if she be undead...
Undead?
Nosferatu.
What?
There are such beings as vampires. They cannot die, but go on adding new victims and multiplying the evils of the world. Blood of the living keeps them in the undead state. All that die from the bite of the vampire, the loss of blood, become themselves undead. And so the circle goes on ever widening. Miss Lucy was the victim of the Nosferatu.
Professor,
He makes her his bride. And now she becomes undead herself.
Professor, I can't...
We must free the soul of this poor lady we have loved, my friend. This undead must be made to rest as true dead.
But, Professor...
We must have more proof for you. Come outside. It is nearly dawn. She must return.
I wonder when...
Look, there upon the hill.
It's Lucy. What does she carry?
It is a child.
My God.
Stay, my friend. We must wait. You must see. When her soul rests, damage to the child will pass.
Look, she's putting the child down.
Yes. Now, see.
What has she done?
Now we go. Come.
Lucy! Lucy, there is blood running out of your mouth, over your...
It is not her blood, it is the child's.
What?
Come to me, Arthur. Leave the old man and come to me.
Lucy, you're so changed.
My arms are hungry for you. Come, and we can rest together.
Do you like my little crucifix, Miss Lucy? Let me show it to you. It will be cool against your forehead, yes?
It burned her skin. No, look, come back, Lucy.
Calm yourself, my friend. I am sorry that this is the way you must learn. I would be gentle if I could. I know it is hard to accept. She's in the tomb now, and there she will remain. The sun comes up very soon. We must leave the child where a constable will find it. Then we must return at sunrise. Now to business. Relight the candles.
Will she be in the coffin?
She could be nowhere else. Now that the sun is up. The undead shun the daylight like all evil things. The night is their time.
Oh, Professor, she looks so at peace. Lovely.
It is a mockery of purity. Give me my bag.
What must be done?
This wooden stake must be driven through her heart. Then her head must be cut off and the mouth filled with garlic.
Is there no other way?
None.
I must do it.
You are a brave young man. You must not falter once you have begun. Take the stake and place the point over her heart. Now take the hammer. Strike in God's name.
It is done.
Now you see Lucy look as she did in her life. That look of unequaled sweetness and purity. Her soul is at rest. Can you forgive me, my friend?
Forgive you? May God bless you, Professor. She is at peace.
Now leave, my friend. I will do the rest. You need not watch. Wait outside. She is now God's true dead.
October 5th. Jonathan and I are visiting now at Dr. Seward's sanatorium. We have banded together to destroy this monster. I have learned the ghastly truth of Lucy's death and what followed. The professor says Jonathan's diary is true. I have typed and arranged everyone's papers and diaries. The story they tell is incredible. This thing is not human, not even beast. Tonight, we set up our plan of action.
We have all read the papers and diaries. We can see the common thread they weave.
A spider's web.
We know this demon's name is Count Dracula. He is cunning. This vampire is as strong as 20 men. He can, with his hypnotic powers, cloud men's minds. He can, within his range, direct the elements, the storm and fog. He can command the rat, the owl, and the wolf. Also, he can change into a bat or a wolf. He has his weaknesses, though. He casts no reflection in a mirror. Things wholly repel him, as does garlic. We know how he can be destroyed with the wooden stake, the knife, and garlic. His power ceases, as does that of all evil things, at the coming of day. He must sleep in his native earth. Hence the 50 earth boxes, or more accurately, coffins, we have learned, were transported on the ill-fated ship Demeter. We must trace each of these boxes.
Yes.
And sterilize them against his use with pieces of the sacred vapor. And with God's help, capture and kill this monster in one of these coffins.
We must.
Dracula will not die with the passing of time. He can flourish as long as he feeds on the blood of the living and can indeed grow younger from his diet. If we fail to destroy him, it is not mere life or death. We become as him.
God forbid.
Foul things of the night.
Never.
Preying on the bodies and souls of those we love best.
October 6th. Today we have begun to trace the coffin layers of Dracula. Jonathan has gone to find the solicitor to whom the horrid cargo was consigned. Dr. Seward and Van Helsing have gone to sterilize the layers at Carfax. Soon this monster will be no more.
Strange that Dracula's hiding place would be the very next house to mine.
Everything he has done with careful thought and precision. These coffins are now sterilized, but only 29 left out of 50. We must hope that Jonathan is able to trace and sterilize the others to the solicitor Billington. If not, God only knows.
Here we are, Mr. Harker. The invoice.
Thank you, Mr. Billington.
50 cases of common earth delivered to Carfax to be used for experimental purposes. 21 consigned to Mr. Joseph Smollett for transference to the following location.
I slept soundly last night. The sleep has not refreshed me. I feel terribly weak and spiritless. My dreams are full of this business. I hope we can resolve this.
Where were the 21 boxes taken, Mr. Smollett?
To number 347 Piccadilly, a house purchased by Count de Ville. But 12 more were removed by Sam Bloxham, my workman.
Where to?
I don't know. Count de Ville engaged him personally to move them elsewhere.
Dracula must have been with Renfield.
We must talk to this patient.
Let's go.
Let us take Miss Mina. Perhaps she, as a woman, can communicate with him. Where with us, he will be silent.
An excellent suggestion.
6 boxes to Bermondsey, Mr. Bloxham.
Oh, sir, and 6 to the House and Mile Inn. The boys and me left the rest at Piccadilly. Heavy there was. Strong fellow.
Who's that?
Well, Governor, that night we was still unloading. The party what engaged me pitched in a hand. Strongest chap I ever struck and mean looking. Took up his end of the boxes like they was pounds of tea. And me a puffing and a
Goodbye,
blowing.
Mr. Renfield. I hope I may see you often.
Goodbye, dear lady. I pray God I may never see your sweet face again. May he bless you.
Between us, we have sterilized all his coffins but one. 1 out of 50 has eluded us. Come tomorrow morning, we must find it. He must be destroyed.
1 a.m., 6 October. The last hour has been filled with horror. At midnight, Van Helsing and I were summoned to Renfield's room. We found him lying on the floor in a pool of blood.
Rats. Hundreds, thousands of rats, everyone alive. He promised me.
His back is broken.
And his skull is fractured. He is delirious.
His bird may be worth many lives. We must try to revive him.
She is kind. I won't let you.
Something's wrong. Jonathan, wake up.
He sleeps the sleep that I have sent to him.
Dracula.
Your husband is in a trance, and you are in my power. I'll cloud your mind. Remember, this is not the first time or the second that I have been with you.
No.
And now,
Use the needle on it may be too late.
Let us pray that this injection will bring him enough clarity to tell us what we must know.
and you, my bride, would help these men to hunt me and frustrate my designs. Like the others, you would play your wits against me who commanded nations hundreds of years before you were born. Now best beloved one are now to me flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, and later my companion and helper. You shall be avenged in turn, for they shall all minister to your needs. When my brain calls you, you shall cross land or sea to do my bidding. Now, you must be baptized. With my nail, I open this vein on my chest. See the blood flow. Now drink. Your soul is tied to mine.
He's reviving.
Redfield, what has happened? Who did this? It was him. It was Dracula. He knew I was going to tell you.
Tell us what?
It made me mad to know he was taking the life out of her.
Out of whom?
Miss Mina.
He's dead.
Quick! We must go to the Harker's room.
You know, and they will know what it is to cross my path.
In God's name!
Harker is in a trance.
He's making her drink his blood.
Back before the crucifix, demon.
Mina, what does this mean?
You think to baffle me, fools! I have yet a place to rest, and my revenge is just begun. I spread it over centuries, and time is on my side. Your girls that you all love are mine already. You shall all be my creatures that do my bidding, and be my jackals when I want to feed.
Stop!
He's escaped.
He has polluted me.
Calm yourself. Call on God for help. We must guard you from the evil. On your forehead I touch this piece of the sacred vapor in the name of the Father, the Son.
Oh! Unclean. I am unclean. Oh.
Mina! She has fainted.
October 7th. Out of my despair, I have had an inspiration. I have asked Professor Van Helsing to hypnotize me. Perhaps through my link with Dracula, we can find where it is he hides.
Now, Miss Mina, concentrate on my spinning watch. Slowly. Now. She's in a trance. She is ready.
Will this work?
It must.
We shall see. Where are you, Miss Mina?
I do not know. Sleep has no place it can call its own.
What can you see?
Darkness. It is all dark.
And what do you hear?
The lapping of water.
Then you are on a ship?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I am still. So still. It is like death.
October. We are desperate. Dracula has fled England. We have traced him to the Black Sea-bound ship Tsarina Catherine. The professor learned this from hypnotizing Mina. We will pursue this monster. Dracula has gone by sea. We will travel over land to catch him in time. We will split up, Harker and I taking horses to dog his trail once he reaches Transylvania, and Mina and Van Helsing will go by carriage direct to Castle Dracula to head him off. We must destroy Dracula forever.
Your idea was good, Miss Mina. Dracula linked your will to his, your mind to his. He has certain powers over you, but through your mind in hypnosis we can follow him.
Now that he's reached Transylvania, you're sure he's gone by boat up the river?
Like before, in trance you said you heard lapping of waves, but also cows nearby. He is taking the river route to the capital.
Will we be able to catch him this way?
We must. We have all we need, sacred things, and for enemies more mundane, these rifles.
If the gypsies were seen hauling a crate upriver yesterday, they can't be too many hours ahead.
We must follow the shoreline.
We will ride all night if we must.
There it is.
Castle Dracula.
It is almost morning.
A mist is approaching. It seems to be changing, taking the form of...
His two vampire women. I will draw a ring in the dirt around us. Drop these pieces of the sacred vapor in the circle. There, it is done. They cannot enter, and you cannot leave the circle. Soon, the dawn.
Come, sister. Come to us. Come, sister. Come be with us. Come, sister. Come to us. Come, sister.
They go with the dawn. Later, I destroy them, but their master comes first.
The castle is just around the bend.
It's almost sunset.
Look!
Gypsies pulling a cart toward the castle.
There's a coffin on it.
Quickly, it's almost night.
The coffin!
And Jonathan and Arthur closing in.
The gypsies are drawing their weapons. Miss Mina, shoot!
On the cart, Jonathan.
Open the lid.
Hide in the stick.
His eyes. Quickly. I can't move.
You cannot strike. The night spreads its wings and your souls are mine.
Jonathan, use your will.
God, give me strength.
Strike.
Strike again! Steward, your knife! Cut off his head!
For Lucy!
There! It is done.
He's crumbling into dust.
The mark on Mina's forehead. It's gone.
The curse has passed away.
November 13th. We have all been through the flames, but now it is over. Professor Van Helsing and Dr. Seward destroyed Dracula's brides. On the train now passing through France, Jonathan and I are happy once again. The light snow that is falling is covering everything as if it were all a dream. But we know it was real. Like the professor said, we ask none to believe us. We know what we know. It was real, now over. But at night, in my dreams, he comes. And when I wake in the darkness to the sound of the whispering wind, I wonder.